Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we draw on Mortis and learn about the Emperor and his relationship with another Perpetual, who would play the role of his first Warmaster. The Hollow Mountain, it was called, before the Emperor remade humanity's cradle. Back then it was an unquiet place where ghosts of the dead, sun and shamans inside. And in there they would dream and die and live and dream again in repeat in a single night. The Emperor drilled into its heart the caves that had never seen light were touched by it for the first time. Its passages were reformed from their natural state to his design. In a chamber in the mountain, 20 sung, none using the tongues of man, and their words tore chunks from the soldiers trying to get into the chamber, until one word was spoken by the Emperor to be, currently a king, enough. This carried through the 20's babble, and the king stepped forward until their psychic force was against his, and his armour turned red with heat, and a pressure wave ripped into the psykers, and the speakers panicked. All was the other Perpetual with him, was 2 steps behind the king. All says that the Emperor was the first witch, the first wizard, sorcerer, shaman, druid, the first. There were others who were different, but none like him, not in the beginning. All fought for him, and he says that the aim of those in the tower, that they were the philosophers, but their aim was to unite humanity and then elevate them, and the tower helped the message spread to many lands, and the Emperor wanted to stop their message spreading because it counted his own. All helped the Emperor due to the dangers of what the people in the tower were tapping into. I can only assume chaos. All is speaking to John Dramaticus during the heresy and relating these memories to him. They are both Perpetuals. John wants to know what language those philosophers were speaking in the chamber, and he sees carvings that he calls enuncia, which, as we will discover, is an ancient language that was not used for communication, but as a tool or weapon. It could manipulate the fabric of reality, but was dangerous, as those who used it did not need to be psykers, so would know little of what they unleashed. John calls it the primordial language of creation, a symbol system that spans the gap between reality and infinity, and it was shown on the walls in a complete lexicon. John says what they were doing with the language sounds like what the Emperor is doing in terms of helping people. All says no. The philosophers did not concentrate all their powers and ideals in one figure. They wanted to spread what they learned. The idea was that over time the knowledge and understanding they found would disseminate down to other people. All would be illuminated. In reality, though, this would turn cities to ash, and the words could enter your brain and kill you. Then we return to the memory in action. Those speaking the unwords died, and the Emperor walked on. All says to bring what remains into dust. The Emperor countermands this order and says, when we found each other, that is what we talked about. Live past the span of man, and you can see the patterns of what is to come. The Emperor says he can see the shadows of the future. All says they should destroy it still. The Emperor says it will help them understand the horrors that are coming as they go out into the universe. All says perhaps that they, by doing this, cause that to happen. The Emperor says he will not allow it. All says they are not gods, and what about letting people choose? The Emperor says that would kill the future. The Emperor says they will need all knowledge, and though they cannot see the clear path, they will find redemption, a step at a time. The Emperor says, destroy this knowledge and fate changes. He says there are simple choices, only the consequences change. And John, watching this, notes that it's when the Emperor and all fell out, and that the Emperor wants everyone to be in on his idea only. He has no margin for discussion or disagreement. All admits the soldiers that brought down the tower, that fight with the Emperor, that belonged to both of them, that he was the Emperor's Warmaster. All had been the Emperor's perpetual help for a long time, and now they break away from each other. All makes a choice in this moment, hearing what the Emperor is intending to do. He speaks word in that ancient language, enuncia, to destroy the tower around him and stabs the Master of Mankind in order to escape. And that's where we end today's video, friends. There's not much more in this particular book about this incident that I was able to find. Drop me a comment down below. Anything to say? Any requests? Give me a shout. P.S. Just a little bit I'm adding after recording the first video. Enuncia is referred to as the primordial language. So I just want to make the pretty obvious observation that that clearly links it to the warp and to the demons that reside there.